I'm Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. This week I'm going to tell a story about a guy that I really could not stand. Because this guy did something that really bugged the crap out of me. I hate when anybody does it. I hate when people have to throw random things out because they think they're so smart and they just have to show it off. Personally, whereas I think I'm pretty smart, I don't think I'm a genius or anything like that. But I do believe that if you do have genuine intelligence, you don't need to go around making sure everybody knows it. This guy, we'll call him T, was always trying to show off how smart he was. The worst thing about that? He wasn't all that smart. He would constantly try to say things to try to convince people he's smart, which sadly would fool some people. But if you knew even a little bit to dissect what he was saying, you'd know it wasn't great. Like, one of his favorite things to throw out there all the time when having conversations with people was, I have an associate's degree. But funny enough, he would never tell people what he had an associate's degree in. Now, to be fair, that's because most of the time, we didn't ask. We didn't care. Okay, you have an associate's degree. Good for you. One day at this particular job, I'm sitting in our break room, hanging out with my usual guys that I hang out with. We're all talking, laughing, being mean to each other. And he decides out of nowhere he's going to sit down at our table. And we were talking about smartphones. At the time I didn't have a smartphone. At the time I didn't want a smartphone. I have one now. I still don't really want it. Because I personally believe that smartphones are making people dumber. People have become ridiculously dependent on their smartphones. And people try to defend it to me saying things like, well, what if I got lost and I don't have a smartphone? Well, back in the ancient days, we used to go up to other people and ask, hey, can you give me some directions? Well, what if I really need to check an email and I don't have a smartphone? You could try waiting until you get home and using a computer. Well, what if I'm out and about and I really want to check my Facebook, but I can't because I don't have a smartphone? You could try growing up. And during this conversation that he interjected himself in, he starts defending smartphones and how they're enriching our lives and enabling us to communicate with people at faster rates, which he obviously wasn't reading the table because none of us are interested in communicating with other people. But to try to make his point, again, had to throw out, trust me, I have an associate's degree. Now, up to this point, I'd heard him say that many times to other people, but he had yet to make the mistake of saying that to me. And now he blew it, because of course I was like, why do you always have to throw that out there that you have an associate's degree? Like, that's really such a big deal. Well, do you have one? No, but if I want one, all I have to do is go to community college, take a course, and complete it, and I'll get one. That's not a big deal. An associate's degree is like the lowest level of degree there is. All it means is that you completed a course. I know what a lot of people, they hear, ooh, a degree, you must be really smart. But really, that means nothing to me, because I've known a lot of people with better degrees than an associate degree who are obvious idiots. And again, though, you're bragging about the very bottom of the barrel of degrees. Like, there's no job that requires an associate's degree, of all things. Most of the time, if they require a degree, it's at least a bachelor's. And you bragging so much about how smart you are because you have an associate's degree, if you're so smart, you have these degrees and they mean such a big deal, why are you working at a place where two of the people you're talking to at this table are high school dropouts? Well, it's not one I can do a whole lot with. Shock. Which raised the question, what do you have an associate's degree in, by the way? Logical thinking. I don't believe that's a real course. You know, where it combines the knowledge of reality and existence. Are you talking about philosophy? Call me overly suspicious, but I kind of feel like he may have been lying, saying he had a degree in a course that he didn't actually know the name of. So after we picked on him a little bit for basically being stupid, he left. A couple weeks later, he comes back and sits down at our table again. Now, this group of guys, one reason I got along with them, probably better than any group of guys I ever got along with at any job I ever had, was the five of us were all nerds. We were all pretty much into the same things. We were all movie buffs. We all liked comic books. Most of them liked anime. I like anime, but I'm not like a huge fan. One other guy liked wrestling. We would talk about that sometimes. Basically, we were just a small group of freaking nerds. And we're having one of our overly nerdy conversations as he sits down, and out of nowhere decides to interject into the conversation. I think it comes down to the science of the relationship between heat, work, temperature, and energy. Right after he said this, we all just kind of stared around at each other all blank-faced like... Now, me personally, what he just said sounded extremely familiar, but at the moment, couldn't quite put my finger on it. One of the guys at my table, we'll say his name was Steven, did eventually pick it up and ask, what exactly does thermodynamics have to do with whether or not Batman should kill the Joker? Yeah, we were talking about Batman, and whether or not it was irresponsible of him to not kill the Joker when the Joker just keeps getting out and killing more people. We were arguing about this. What did thermodynamics have to do with this? His answer? Well, you see, because heat does not flow spontaneously with... So you're just going to start quoting the laws of thermodynamics to sound smart? That's exactly what he was doing. Again, it made us laugh. So he got up and left as I continued the conversation with... Well, you know, guys, I think the relationship between Batman and Robin can be summed up with Newton's second law of motion, that the acceleration of an object is directly related to the net force and inversely related to its mass. Oh, well, it all makes sense now. Oh yeah, we picked on him. Now, you would think that after these two incidences, this guy would get it through his head that if he's really, really seeking validation, that he's just such a genius, he'd understand he's not going to get it from that table. It's not going to happen. We're all smart enough to see through your crap. None of us are going to look at you and go, ooh, you're so smart. But like a glutton for punishment, another day, we're at lunch, we sit down, we're talking, he sits with us. We're hoping he doesn't say something stupid, because the truth is, we're all very sarcastic. We all cut up on each other a lot. And when somebody says something that stupid, we can't live with ourselves if we don't cap you. Somehow, and don't ask me how, our conversation got to a point where we were talking about history, specifically World War II and the Holocaust and all the atrocities that happened. It was just one of those conversations that started somewhere not even close and ended up there. And out of nowhere, he throws this out. You know what I couldn't stand about Adolf Hitler? The guy is running Germany, but he's Austrian. That's what you can't stand about Hitler? Well, you know it. Yeah, I know. You had to throw out a random fact as if we were going to go like, oh, that's interesting. I think we all knew that already, that he was Austrian. And even if we didn't, that's not high on the list of things I don't like about Hitler. Oh yeah, forget about the fact that he killed 6 million Jews and forced over 400,000 of his own people to become sterilized for having things like panic attacks. That could all be forgiven if he wasn't such an Austrian bastard. You need to stop throwing things out there just to try to make yourself sound smart, because that makes you sound dumber. Because him being Austrian is not really something that bugs a lot of people. That's not even close to the top of the list. It's probably more towards the bottom 3, in between, he never said God bless you when you would sneeze, and he was a crappy artist. So moral of this story, don't be T. So there you have it. That's my story video this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me about some people that had to just throw out random stupid facts to try to sound smart. Love you guys.